Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. Thanks for tuning in to this Red Kingdom Media production, bringing you raw, authentic Chiefs coverage. Make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on your team. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
This is the Red Kingdom Media Live POSTGAME Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the Week 2 edition of the Red Kingdom Media Live post-game show. I am your host, as always, Clinton. Joined with me are my pals Dale and Lonnie, where your Kansas City Chiefs have defeated the Cincinnati Bengals with a 1-point margin of a 26-25 victory. Getting the victory at the last second with Harrison Butker getting a go-ahead field goal to take this game away in a game where most of the time it felt like the Chiefs were trying to give it away single-handedly. And most of the time the Bengals taking up on it, but also making some mistakes of their own. So the Chiefs were able to escape Arrowhead this evening with a victory, going 2-0 on the season so far. And they are set to travel to Atlanta and take on the Falcons for Sunday Night Football a week from now. So plenty of rest and time to celebrate this win, and going up against a much easier opponent and less of a rival, as you both have stated, the Cincinnati Bengals are to us. And guys, to put it straight, yeah, the Chiefs, the Bengals seem to always have their number in some way. Doesn't mean that they always come out and win. But I think, much like the Bills as well, they always tend to play the games close. So if you're ever going to only be satisfied in a game like this, where the Chiefs outright win by 10 or more points, you may be asking a little too much, because the NFL is full of good players on both sides of the ball, and they make their plays at each time. So just Butker hits the 51-yarder thanks to the pass interference call. Pat danced around the pocket for a long time, was able to draw that penalty, and then was able to drive down the field, and Butker was able to officially snatch the game away from the Bengals. So overall, I think my thoughts from being inside the stadium and the atmosphere, the Chiefs were very rattled at times, but I got to shout out the defense. 25 points is a little high for them, but I think they're willing to accept that if they get some 3 points versus 6 points at times, and they know that, eventually their offensive players are going to get them periodically, no matter how well you play it. But overall, I'm very satisfied for how the defense played, in terms of what they gave up, most of the damage coming in that second quarter, and then they were able to adjust and hold them to only 9 points. And the quick touchdown, but the missed extra point would go on to be the difference in the score, in terms of that final field goal being the go-ahead versus only tying it. So you have that to chew on as well. But I think the other point for me is the offense really struggled. I think their best tactic was running the ball at times, and they kind of abandoned it. Travis Kelce was yet again kind of absent or not focused as much on the offense. But the other standout has got to be Rasheed with his touchdown, and he was still able to get loose and make the big plays when it counts. And I think we kind of talked about it a little bit before we went live. They may be trying to save him up, or they were trying to ease him into the beginning of the season. Maybe in terms of kind of waiting around for what the NFL may rule for him. But if he is, all systems go, he's set to have a big season. And if Travis is going to have his targets kind of diminish a little bit, I think it's very clear, especially with the Hollywood Brown news that came out this week and the longevity of that injury and the impact that's going to make on the offense and the projections that they were going to have. But it's clear that Rashee Rice is now the focal point and will be for probably years to come. So I'll open the discussion. You guys can take it. What were your thoughts about this game and how the Chiefs were able to come out and steal a victory?
Yeah, so I love what I've seen from the Chiefs overall. Not so much the offense. I mean, I feel like me and Dale talked about it a little bit on Chief, and I mean, Dale spoke about it. Just the bonehead interceptions. I mean, I feel like the defense put us in advantageous situations, and we're failing to take advantage of those situations when we do get those chances. So we can't continue to have those type of errors. Mahomes played like boo boo that first half of the season last year. And he's kind of followed it up with another game against a tough opponent. Just not playing a little bit lackluster. I know we did have problems at left tackle today, but Mahomes did also just throw some bonehead interceptions that you just can't have when the team is able to create turnovers or get a stop on, get a 3 and out, get the ball back in your hands. So hats off to the defense again. The offense played a little bit subpar today, and it was to the likes of the quarterback and a little bit to the offensive line. But I love what I see and what I'm seeing from the defense. I just want to say we got to bring it better on fourth down. When we have to bring it, because teams are going to go for it on fourth down, and I think like I was telling Dale during the game, it shows desperation. That's how desperate teams are when they're coming in and they're playing us. Like we're going for it on fourth down early in the game. Win, lose, or draw, we'll take our chances here. If we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it. If we don't, we don't. Oh well. We'll rather have you drive the whole field. So I feel like that's a desperation move by a lot of teams, but you're going to see it more and more as long as the Chiefs fail to come up with a stop on fourth down. But I think we got to find answers on fourth down. But I feel like the defense is playing young, fast, and physical. You've seen that today with them getting that defensive score. That was really the difference in the game. Went on to be the difference in the game, that forced fumble. So hats off to the defense. And like I said, in Spags we trust. We need to like lead almost every segment with that motto. And like I said, we praying and hoping that this man does not get a head coaching job. We just kind of sweep it under the rug that he keeps just creating these magnificent defenses year after year. So I love what I've seen from the team overall, but just the defense specifically.
I'm just glad to get out of this with a win. Truthfully, it was frustrating throughout the game. However, I did come into acceptance that the Bengals are always going to play us competitive and they're always going to give us a run for our money. It's always going to come down to that final play, the last possession. And this time, it actually just went in the Chiefs' favor. They were able to get a penalty with that pass interference, something similar that what we saw in the AFC Championship game 2 years ago when he hit Patrick Mahomes out of bounds. He was able to go up, and guess who won the game for us? Harrison Butker. So I think with us playing two tough teams to start out the season, the Ravens and then the Bengals, and then getting out with close victories in both games, I think it just really shows that this team can really, handle the adversity if they're not going to get rattled in moments. Now, throughout the game, we did see the offense rattle, and they did have some issues, and then you start seeing the Bengals defense start to get way stingy and start getting a lot more aggressive as well. Kingsley had a rough day, but I didn't like the benching of Kinsley. I think in those moments, this is a guy that you went out and drafted in the second round. He won the starting position from Y.A. Morris. You got to have him get used to those moments. Let him fight through that adversity, because this is somebody we expect to be holding it down for Pat for years to come, especially with his time, when his time is here, when we can talk about that and see how those years go. But overall, better than what we saw even last year. I think offensively still, Mahomes said it before, it's always going to be the Mahomes dumb mistakes that keeps him in the game, and that's exactly what happened. He threw a bonehead interception and started off, and then he threw one later in the game when he was trying to, before the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth, throwing it up to Xavier Worthy, and guess what? Cam Taylor-Britt, he has a highlight interception now, and he got something he can hold on to, even though we still got the win today. But hey, overall, great team win. We get over those moments. We go down to Atlanta next week, and now during this part of the schedule, it's time to start cleaning up those mistakes that we had early on and start seeing the offense move way more efficiently. But I will say they have started out the game way better than they were last season. We are going down. We're running the ball with Pacheco. We're getting those first touchdowns on the first possession, or even field goals as well. We're putting points on the board. So I am satisfied to see that. But when it gets to the playoffs, the Bengals, if we do see them again, they're going to have this game from week 2 on their mind. They're going to say like, hey, we was a mistake away from beating y'all again, and Burrow being up 4-1. So think about that. We do have enough time, 15 more weeks in the season, but hey, let's go ahead and get it. And I'm definitely happy to get out of Arrowhead with a victory today.
All righty. Well, thank you all for those who have joined the live streams that we're doing currently. If you're not listening or watching this after the fact, but we've got some really good conversations and some discussions in here. A lot of it having to do around the offense in terms of their performance. Dale, since you were mentioning how you were just happy to pull off the win, are you just kind of expecting the offense to kind of have itself kind of fixed by next week, or do you think this is going to be kind of a learning process, the way that we've understood maybe the defense to be in most years, needing several weeks to figure itself out?
I wouldn't necessarily say that they will be fixed by next week, but I do think that we saw some great positives in the first 2 weeks of the season. We do see that Rashee Rice has grown into that wide receiver 1 role, and it looks like the playbook has expanded for him, and he is understanding his assignment and taking advantage of those moments as well too. Now, with it, I haven't seen no drops. If we had more drops than was the same, similar than what we had last season, I do think we lose this game. So I am glad that we're avoiding those type of moments. But what they're going to have to do is Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, they're going to have to figure out how they want to go about it. When you see Mahomes get flustered in certain situations, he does commit a turnover. We're going to have a better response in those moments, because people are gunning for us. They're trying to stop the three-peat. And we were lucky that our defense is playing on the same page as what they were last season. Got the little things that we got to fix up. But overall, I do think that it's going to take time. But I do think we're going to see a lot of great flashes, and that Mahomes is going to do what he does best and keep us always in the game. And Travis Kelce, he will get there. He will get there eventually. I'm satisfied if you're going to your younger guys and they're making plays and we're putting points on the board with him. A guy like Kelce, similar to what you saw with Rob Gronkowski a few years ago when he was going towards the end of his career. He wasn't doing all of that in every regular season game. He had his moments. But when it came into the postseason, him and 12, they were always on the same page. So I'm seeing the same thing with Patrick Mahomes and Kelce as well, too. Get it to me when you can. I'm not bugging. The streak of 1,000 yards is over. We just need to complete this three-peat. I have nothing like I need to still play well, but I'm not trying to keep anything going up right now. I just want to go out there and win games. So if you're going out there and being selfish and you think it's all about you, then we're going to be horrible. So everybody who's out there who's worried about he's not getting enough targets, we're not going for him, we're not going to him, it's okay. Let it be. We'll figure that out as it goes, because when he need to make a play, 87 is going to make a play. And I'm always going to ride on him with that as well, too. So overall, like I said, it figure itself out as it goes, but we're definitely in a better situation than we were last year.
Yeah. So, and I'll just say that the 15 to 87 connection is kind of like inseparable. So, like anytime it's like desperate times call for desperate measures. So, when we need it, when it comes down to it, you know who he's going to usually 9 times out of 10. But we gotta find the second guy because Kelsey is getting into the later parts of his career. He is not getting any younger. So no, it's not too many more years ahead of him than there are behind him. So we got to find a different answer, and I think we just been doing that with Rasheed Rice and the different guys that we have. It's okay.
No doubt about it. Any concern about Xavier Worthy and his usage today? Are you kind of satisfied with what you saw out of him, or were you kind of hoping for a little bit more?
Yeah, I love what I've seen from Xavier Worthy. When you get into these tight games and these situations with these teams that know you very well and you're in the NFL, and there's a lot of preparation that goes on here. When we get into critical situations, you're probably not going to see guys like Xavier Worthy just because, I mean, we're hoping that you prepare for situations like that, but we're just going to go with guys that kind of know the situation and understand. I think that's why we've seen a lot of Jalen Watson today. No, Justin Watson. I'm sorry, I said Jalen Watson. Justin Watson. We also seen a lot of Jalen Watson too, but some good, some bad. But that's for another segment. But I think that's why we're seeing a lot of Justin Watson today. But I love what I've seen from Xavier Worthy. The time that he did get in there, I want him to keep his feet better. You got to do that type of stuff, and kind of get some more depth when you beat the guy off the line. I know Mahomes is trying to fit it in there, and Mahomes kind of likes to lay it right over top of the DB. But he made a heck of a play. You got to take your hat off to Cam Taylor-Britt, like Dale said. So I like what I seen from Xavier Worthy. He was fine. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Like he said, no drops. That's the thing that makes us inefficient. We only can kill ourselves as Chiefs offense. We know we have to do what Mahomes did today, which is those stupid interceptions. Like I said, go back to our episode of Chiefing and watch what Dale talked about. That's exactly how you lose a game. And Mahomes almost did it today. So I think I love what I've seen from Xavier Worthy, though.
Oh, the reason why I don't get angry, we really live and die by Pat. It's like when you really think about it, and I'm just gonna talk. This is gonna sound biased as hell. I don't care. I told you I was at this point at in this career now, 3 Super Bowls up. I'm feeling good. I'm not going to ruin my credibility with this or anything like that. But dude, Pat, that's that gunslinger mentality. I'm about to make a play. The one at the end of the third quarter, even though the one over the middle made me mad the most, it's still, you didn't have to. Are you trying to prove Xavier is that guy? You didn't have to. Have more time in the pocket where you can air it out. We was discussing this earlier as well too. I don't like these line drives that he throws on verticals. Throw that up. You got speed now. Rasheed Rice showed you he can get under it as well too. He got better. But overall, with your question, Clinton, Xavier Worthy, you got to think about even the targets that he had last week. It was still minimal. It's just what he did with those targets and those plays that were given to him. He just made the most out of it. He had a touchdown down the field. Just because we read the coverage right, we saw it. Marlon Humphreys was cheating. He wasn't paying attention, got behind him. And then as well, on the reverse, he saw a seam and ran up it. Now, the Bengals, I will say they just know how to play us great. They know what we want to do. And in those moments, you saw when he did get the reverse, he still was able to get some yardage, but it's like, no, we're going to close those seams a little bit quicker. We're going to put bodies on you because when you got a guy with that small stature as well, any type of contact that's coming full speed, they're going to be thrown off a little bit. Now, he didn't get hit. He didn't get smacked and went down. He was able to still get out of bounds, but it stopped your momentum. And then, and that's what it is. So I think it was still in the game plan for him to really get those moments out there. I don't think we were trying to force something in him, even though I said that in the extra point video. I did think he will be like, okay, we're going to show you what this weapon can do. But at the end of the day, we know what Reed is about. He's going to give them moments, but I'm not gonna rely on you in that game as well, especially early on. This your second game playing in the regular season. You're a rookie, going on, and we're already in these big moments. So I'm not disappointed. But I do think we're going to see him shine towards the middle of the season, especially when you see those games that we're playing where we're supposed to win them, and you start seeing him start doing a little bit more. But you got to remember, now we got 2 down. We got 15 more to go. So he's going to have his chances. We don't have to rush it because we got our wide receiver 1 in Rashee Rice.
Yep. All right. Here's just kind of some takeaway thoughts for the offense, and we can kind of finish that up and start transitioning to arguably who we think played the best this game, the defense. So the offense only had just right at 300 yards in terms of rushing and receiving. Isaiah Pacheco led the team in terms of 24 total touches for a little over 115 yards, having the most production out of any player. The second would be Rashee Rice, who we've already hyped up with his 75 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to Wanya Morris. I'm not including him in the main conversation, but you're 1 for 1 and a touchdown. Your fat guy touchdown that you'll hear me shout a billion times on Shannon's upcoming vlog video. So stay tuned for that. But everybody else, really did not accumulate a lot of targets. And from what I'm seeing, most of the players that did are other than Pacheco and Rice as the 2 leaders. Justin Watson, ekes up there with his 2 touches, but it's Carson Steele, Xavier Worthy, and Jared Wiley. So, we're really focusing on the rookies or the young players right now to start the season. So, not sure if that's foreshadowing what the veterans ahead of them are producing, or if that's kind of trying to hide that away for the later part of the season when things get more intense and you have to have those extra tools in your belt. So it's kind of incredible that Jared Wiley finishes with more yards than Travis Kelce.
I mean, I feel like it's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't think, like I told Dale, Travis doesn't get dejected by numbers. I can tell you that. I can guarantee you Travis would rather have a win 10 times out of 10 over than scoring a touchdown or getting 1,000 yards. I think he could care less. Even on the Wanya Morris touchdown, I think Travis is in the end zone greeting Wanya Morris after he scores the touchdown, like the first person to run to him. So I don't think it matters for Travis. He's the ultimate team player, and that's why he has made it as far as he's made it. So I understand what people are saying, and numbers are, I know, everything in this league as of right now for fantasy, for a ton of different reasons. But sometimes the most important things are wins, and that's what we're getting, especially against good teams that are going to count down the stretch, hopefully. So I love it. It's okay for the Travis didn't get his numbers.
So he'll be all right. Yeah, all right, go Clinton.
Oh, no, good. It was segueing away. If you finish up your thought.
Oh no, yeah. No, I was just saying that with Kelce, I think what people are going to see from him this year is more of that leadership role, really hyping up the younger guys is going to be getting opportunities, because I wanted to respond to the point that you were saying with, kind of seeing some of those younger guys get the more touches, having more productions with the offense. But this team kind of had to shift to that, especially with us not being able to bring in a lot of veteran talent in a free agency, guys going off for more money. We're not able to really compete at that. So I think we're starting to feel that let's go ahead and work with the guys that we have and grow with that. We do have a quarterback who can really work with whatever he has. Now, we probably want to see the same efficiency that you saw in 2019 when Tyreek was here, and the year after that when we still went to the Super Bowl. Of course, the offensive line was depleted, but this shows the maturity, the growth of a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, because people are coming for you. They don't want you to be that guy. A lot of critics out here are mad that you are almost getting to the same level of play. You're getting the championships as quick as Tom Brady. We have boomers who are like, damn, I don't want this magician who's running around playing goofy, throw 2 interceptions that's dumb, and win a game. It's very frustrating. I'll be honest, if I was coach, if I was Lou Amarillo, if I was, Zach Taylor, that would irritate me a lot.
So
And we
just
had their
to
number.
add on to that, with 2 interceptions, it's 2 sacks and a QBR of less than 31.
I said to Dale, I said, and this is what's scary to me. And I know this is me just getting ahead of the curve and giving y'all some just real info. It's gonna be amazing to see. The Chiefs it's gonna eventually catch up. The turnover differential is eventually gonna catch up with the Chiefs. It just has not as of lately since we had Mahomes. I was talking to Dale about this. He has defeated all odds when it comes to the turnover differential. He has shown you that interceptions in certain places do not matter. So it amazes me, but eventually it will come a time where it's catching up, but it has not caught up yet. And that's what he did today. He defeated the turnover differential. And if you look at a lot of games, he's the only quarterback that has shown the ability to say, oh, I have 2 turnovers and you have 0. We're still going to win. So I don't know if it's the way that Brett Veach is structuring the team, or like, I think it's a little bit of the defense also getting defensive touchdowns, a little bit of luck in there too. But he shows that just does not exist. Those turnovers, really, you might as well just consider them punts.
I'll go after you, Clinton. I got something to add.
So, and then to finish up the 3 turnovers that the Chiefs committed this game, you had Carson Steele, who I was going to pop quiz you guys, as he had the second most touches this game, which, we can say that Andy Reid is not running the ball enough, and really 26 between both running backs, but in the flow of the game, it didn't feel like they were lacking it to a degree. But of course, he had that fumble at a very terrible time, and I wanted to kind of ask you guys, got to kind of refresh my memory. What was the penalty that wasn't? Because Arrowhead was not very happy at that time, and I got to believe that the offense may have been rattled in that way, because there's still lots of booing, and Arrowhead gets very upset when calls are not going their way, and we can be angry for quite a bit of time.
So let me say this. Basically, the penalty that we got at the end of the game, that's what they didn't call earlier in the game. He got there early, was over his head, but it's a ticky-tack call. That's why I know.
Yes, he was hanging on his back. He was back.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie, I've always been a guy who I feel like if you're playing for the ball, I think it is fair to at least try to find some type of ways to try to, of course, disengage it and try to throw it off a little bit. But they got there early, and that's how the calls go. So you can go back and forth with it. But I really think it's like, okay, it's clear as day this time. He got there very early. The ball is still in the air. He's jumping up for it, but it was catchable. So it was a pass interference. But, yeah, that's pretty much what the call was.
I see. Okay. And we kind of got bailed out at the end there, and that allowed us to get the field goal and officially take the victory. So we had a question. Do we feel like Mahomes is kind of running more than usual? I feel like he's in his past always kind of run at his chosen times. I mean, think back to the 2020 AFC Championship game against Tennessee, taking off at the end of the second quarter to score before halftime and kind of start putting that game away. I don't think Patrick is averse to running. I think maybe he can kind of decide that his pocket isn't as clean as it could be, and maybe it either has to do with his linemen or his receivers not getting open or not being trustworthy to catch it, like last season kind of ended up being. So I don't think Patrick kind of runs more than normal. I think he kind of chooses his spots, and that's what kind of makes him dangerous because he's always a scrambler. You just have to find out when the play happens. Does he run behind the line of scrimmage to chuck it deep, or does he sprint along the sidelines and pick up yards? It's always a guessing game, but I don't think we'd ever question why he's running at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got it, bro.
He never fails to sling the pill. So he's a great situational runner. It's usually situational. I don't think he's never going to be a Lamar Jackson or any of those other guys. Josh Allen, he's never going to be like that. And if he has to, it was something going on. We didn't have a running back. Something was not right. He just doesn't. I don't think he'll ever be a runner. So it's just all situational, I think.
Yeah, honestly, when you think about it, I think it's just more something that he just put it, what he added that another added element to his game that I felt like he wanted to utilize more. I think in when you go back from the previous seasons, just like you said, Clean, where you feel like he's not trusting the receivers. I don't think he want to put them in situation where they're blamed because a lot of times you can throw it off key, throw it at the wrong time to where like that defensive player is making contact sometimes at the same time, and that can cause a disengagement where the ball is in the air. Then you have those fluke interceptions as well. So I think it's more so like, hey, let me just get these yards, get upfield, take it. But like this is the thing is, you need to do that throughout the whole game. Like, bro, it's okay, just take the sack. I don't think you have the same problems that you had from last season. I just think more so that people are kind of getting accustomed to the play call, the playbook, all that good stuff. Because when you think about it, our weapons from last year that's very important to us is Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and then also Isaiah Pacheco. When you got guys who are going to key in on Travis Kelce a little bit more, you are seeing Rashee Rice stepping up and actually making those plays, and he's starting to get the credit for that. Then those other guys as well, they got to grow into those roles that you had the MVSs beforehand, and the guy, I forgot his name, Richie James, all that other stuff, because it took them a while to kind of get ready for it as well too. MVS was here for 2 seasons, so I think just give them time, let them figure it out, and then you'll probably start seeing more. But the surprising person is Juju. I was definitely expecting more.
Yeah, and maybe I was gonna say maybe he wasn't. The Patriots weren't too far off with their assumption of Juju,
Yeah.
but I don't want to say. I just wanted to say Mahomes can't. We can't continue to cover up for like the gunslinger mentality. That is eventually gonna get us killed, bro. He has to get that under control. That's what separates him and Brady for real. And I'm not saying as far as like, because Mahomes is still on the hunt with Brady, but that's what separates him in the efficiency of his offense between him and Brady and the rest of these guys like Aaron Rodgers. The guys that aren't scared to take the check down. Like when it's there, just take it, bro. Everything doesn't have to be a $1 million shot to the end zone. And I think Mahomes lives and dies. We live and die with him as a gunslinger, just like they say in football and basketball, you live and die with the 3-pointer. We're living and dying with him slinging that rock. But I mean, in certain situations, man, take the check down or just go down. Like Brady was okay taking the sack and just throwing it away. Like you have to be able to do that because you are putting your team in non-advantageous situations. Like if somebody on the defense would have came off mad at you, we would have been upset with him, of course, because what he's done for the organization. But it's just like at the same time, you are not putting them in good situations. You're putting them in the situation where they got to get back on the field after they just got you a 3 and out. They're already tired. They've been playing their butts off. So like you're not helping them. So you got to be better.
No doubt. So let's go ahead and pivot to the defense. Who stood out to you guys? Obviously, other than the big time Chamari Connor strip sack turned into a touchdown. No, a lot of us did not know whether or not that would stand, but thankfully it did, and ended up being the only touchdown scored for the Chiefs in the second half. So, who and what were your key players and moments on the defensive side of the ball that sealed the game for you?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with my guy Trent McDuffie. I know you didn't want us to say Shamari Connor because he made a couple plays, so that's cool. Even though he probably should, he's solely, I think, in the media, he should get to stand out for the team for that. Had big moments, but what the times I saw Trent McDuffie on Chase, especially like on the goal line as well too. Even though we did see a couple scores at times, but he was able to blanket him and not allow him to get outside and have that corner of the end zone. So I just think that's just veteran stuff you see right there. And then also on that pass interference that was called on him, it wasn't a pass interference on him. He played it very well. The difference from him and Sneed would be very more handsy. I think it would be a lot more obvious. He was more so, you know, how they running with them, kind of like keeping him in front of him, keeping him on the side. He forced him to go towards the outside a little bit more. That's what you want to do as a corner. You don't want them to have as much as green grass to get that catch and stay in bounds. So Jamar Chase, he did a great job of acting, playing it off for the referee. Can't really blame him because it's going back and forth. You just saw a pull, and it looks like when he was falling down that maybe Trent McDuffie was pushing towards him. So I think at the end of the day, he did his part. He handled it very well.
That penalty, bro. Arrowhead was not a fan of Jamar Chase drawing that penalty. And if anything, he grabbed Trent McDuffie's jersey and pulled him away from the ball as well. So they eventually did get an offensive pass interference called on them, which ultimately allowed the Chiefs to gain possession and eventually go ahead and come out on top. But yeah, the offense for Cincinnati was throwing everything they can, and most of the time the referees were buying what they were selling.
Right. Good day for the tight ends, though. I will give them their props.
Very much
they did
so.
Well.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, sometimes it's just good if you Jamar Chase just to be quiet. Sometimes they're building a factory of DBs over there. Really, guys, just to stop you. You the only guy that they said went crazy on Steve Spagnuolo. 230 yards in the game.
Was it 266?
260 in a game.
It was the first game when we played him. Yeah.
Yeah. So you left the stain on Steve Spagnuolo's career. So he's gonna have a game plan for you every time. But I just want to say, yes, that was not PI. Thank you for clearing that up, Clinton. It was definitely he grabbed Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie is a technician. Of course, he does. He's seldom to no mistakes. Like, I love watching Tony Romo. Watch the TV broadcast, Clinton. You're going to see Tony Romo break down the film of Trent McDuffie and say, yeah, that's why he's going to be an all-pro again. Yeah, that's why he's going to be an all-pro again, because he's just a technician. He does everything right. But I just want to say, Jamar Chase is a crybaby, bro. Like, shut up. Like, you wanted to get a hip drop. You wanted to get a hip drop tackle, something brand new they haven't called at all year. And Trent McDuffie cow roped you down like a calf. Like he was in a calf roping contest in a rodeo. And he's like this is a guy that they said is undersized, right? Like the most physical corner on our team, and he sets an example with like the best player on the Bengals. I love it, like every time I see it. But that's not my standout. I love that being your standout though, Dale. Trent McDuffie, that's my guy. But my standout is I'm gonna give it to the whole defensive line. And just if you want me to be specific, I'll give it to Turk Warden, because the play that he made on Joe Burrow, the strip sack that he had on Joe Burrow that we didn't know was a strip sack was magnificent. It was beautiful. To change the momentum in the game, that shifted the momentum in the game when we needed it the most. You see, when Steve Spagnuolo went over there and he was talking to his defense, he wasn't getting on the secondary. He was talking to his defensive line. So to see those guys come in and show up and come in and get the game-changing play for Shamari Connor to get the run back, I mean, hats off to the defensive line. I mean, if you want to be technical, we need to get a game ball to Steve Spagnuolo. Like, he does it every time. We have to stop. We can't be. I mean, we're not discrediting him. We just have to give him his credit. Just like when Andy Reid is dialing it up and getting guys to go for 150, that Steve Spagnuolo is doing the same thing with the young defense and a young defensive line. and he's rotating guys in. You got a whole bunch of guys coming in and out. So I feel like we got to take our hat off to the defensive line, and if we have to be specific, it needs to be Turk Wharton, Mr. 98, because to get in there and get a strip sack on a play where he's trying to gain yards, we know the wrist is suspect. It just shows the hungry and the tenacity of the team. I love it. Like, and you gotta take your hat off to the defensive line and what Spags is doing over there with Joe Cullen. Like, it's amazing.
But Clean, for real, you getting us, bro. Not letting us pick Shamari Connor because he got the pickup for the touchdown and the sack, the crucial one. The blitz was pretty though, because I was like, I saw Reed, and he was like, nah, bro, I'm right here, and no, you're not doing that underneath nothing. You're going down, and yeah, this is the same. Look, Steve gone, Trimmer W went out, motherfucker, I'm in, and it's the same, and it's gonna be the same, and that's how it's gonna go. But absolutely. Yeah, it was great, man. It was great defense. Although they scored 25 points at the end of the day, when you play great offenses like that, as long as you make the plays that's needed, you're going to always get your credit. So, yeah, they haven't kept a team under, 17 this time. This was a great game. I think both offenses wanted to prove something, but great job defensively. I think we held it what we was when we gave up the ball. We held it down like we were supposed to. And then, a great offense like that, they're going to make points. So once they make points, when we get the opportunity again, we're going to stop that. And they did that. Great job today.
So you already shouted out Turk Wharton, but Chris Jones, Karlaftis, and Mike Dana also got their half sacks to share. Mm-hmm. And yes, Shamari Connor led the team in sacks with his one that led to that score. So two questions for you guys. We'll go ahead and do this one first. So a lot of the storylines after the Ravens game had to do with the Chiefs linebackers. What did you guys see in this matchup, and do you believe that some of those struggles have continued into week 2?
You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd seen Drew Tranquil miss a tackle, a couple critical ones, but in the same time, in the same vein, he got in there on a third down play and got in and made a critical tackle in the backfield, stopping somebody and stopping the run for a loss. So, yes, I know there has been a lot of conversation in regards to Drew Tranquil and some coverage things when it comes to Nick Bolton. I love our linebackers, man. I think it's hard playing in the scheme that Spags plays. He gives you a lot. He puts a lot on you. And if you haven't been playing in it for a long time, there are things where if you miss tackle, you'll get exposed because we're usually blitzing and it's not too much to cover you on the backside. So it's probably one broken tackle and you're going to get close to scoring a touchdown. So, he did good. He did what he could. I'm not going to be super critical of Drew Tranquil because in critical situations, he finds a way to rear his head and make a play. So, and you can just check his track record. He did that today. He did miss a tackle in the hole, but you can move point to times on film on critical situations, third down, where he's making a tackle in the hole. So, shout out Drew Tranquil.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go back to like what my guy Dre Lindell said in the chat as well too earlier. He didn't say it in the chat earlier, but he said this, mentioned this on social media, where he was like, the linebackers and the DBs, we gotta get those fixed up again. I think he said something about left tackle as well too. And I'm gonna be honest, it's always the same thing every year with the linebackers and the DBs a little bit. They start off slow. They make plays though, but they start off slow, and then they start to pick it up. But going back with Lonnie's saying, how we play defense as well too. You don't really have too much help once you get that open field tackle. So if they break loose on first contact, then it's either going to be a first down or it's more after that. So I think they did a great job when they had to, and they made the plays. They made the plays they were supposed to make. But I think they will get it together eventually. But more so, I think we just put them in situations to where they're probably covering for too long, and we get used to having pressure because Spags start to dial it up towards like later on in the season as the season goes on as well. So you have those moments where you might have a guy come across the middle, make a play that's coming across the face of Nick Bolton. But I do think that they find a way to make the adjustments and then play a lot better. I will say it's different from previous years when you had Anthony Hitchens, Reggie Ragland, all those guys. They are playing much better in the run defense. At times, you might see a 5 to 6 yard carry, but they're able to buckle down in short yardage situations and get a stop. So I'm good. I'm good. They're never the best. They're never the worst though either. So I'm okay. Like I think they'll figure it out. And Leo Chenal, he's been growing as well.
And I was gonna say, can I just say that too? Clinton, you got to go back to the TV copy. See Leo Chenal meeting Joe Burrow in the hole on the quarterback sneak. I don't think Joe Burrow will ever try another quarterback sneak where he sees number 54 coming down into the hole. Because like Mahomes said, he's gonna feel that, and it was a throwing shoulder too. He's coming down and he's hitting hard. So we got to take our hat off to that man. He's a monster.
Shout out to fullback Leo Chenal, bro.
He been killing it.
Why was he on offense those plays? I don't know.
They had to get the strongest man on the team, they said.
Yeah,
come on, bro. No, why aren't we not putting Chris Jones at that fullback spot, bro?
He's too lazy and fat. He's sloppy. No, I'm just playing. You know I love you, Chris Jones, but you know, I remember that 40-yard dash. Can't stay up for nothing. So we ain't gonna even depend on you on offense. We ain't doing it.
Wow. And there's a joke to be made here, but I won't entertain it. It's all flopping in my mind, but I swear I won't say it out loud.
We got the victory now. We can talk now. It's over. Say what you got to say.
Okay. My last thought about the defense, or last question: how did you guys feel the secondary played in this matchup, other than Trent McDuffie, which you guys have already said you're very proud of?
Joshua Williams at times got exposed. Jalen Watson, he's showing that dog in him, and he's not caring. I saw him at times yapping at Jamar Chase like, I'm here. I'm going to do it. I'm in your face. So I am definitely proud of him stepping up, missing most of his time in camp in the preseason. He was like someone who is doing great on the other side and holding his own. So I think he earned that number 2. But Joshua Williams, hey, bro, I know you always start off slow, but got to pick it up, my guy, because a lot of times we could have held him on the goal line.
Yeah, I told Dale I love what I seen, but I mean they're a couple big plays away from a Rashad Fitton story going on here. So we don't like to give up big plays, and there were a couple giving up. In some situations where they shouldn't have been giving up. Now we understand.
Nazi looked shaky too.
Yeah, we know you're covering for a while, but we gotta get some tighter coverage and learn how to get our head around. That's like mistakes that we just don't make. Like that's like 2020 Chiefs like mistake. We don't do that type of stuff. So it's okay. I think they'll get it. They have one of the best DB coaches in the world. They have the best defensive coach in the world. I think he will figure it out. He's a secondary whisperer. As you can see, we are cornerback factory. So I think they'll get it together, but 3-5, like Dale said, he's gonna bring it, and he's gonna bring it to your front door. And I love the moxie of him, but he'll give up big plays as well. He's not like a technician like like McDuffie, but when he gets a beat on you, he's not gonna let you get over the top. So 3-5 is good, but 2 has to figure it out, and 13 gonna have to figure it out, because those are the guys that are gonna get picked on. Because they know that you have 2 other corners that are fine. Okay, well, those 2 guys are taken away. We'll just go to our third guy, which is Mr. Whatever his name is. So, and he stole the show today.
Echo Boydo, bro.
Echo, whatever his name is. So, Rio Rancho, but whatever his name is, he stole the day today. And you got to figure a way to cover him. Cover the third best guy, and it's going to be 2 or 13. You guys gonna have to figure it out, and I think they will.
So my last question related to the defense, and then we'll transition to our final thoughts so we can close out for the night. Do you feel like that cornerback 2, 3, 4 that you guys mentioned is the most targeted, or do you feel like the Nick Bolton or Drew Tranquil or the Justin Reed position is showing to be the weakness? Who do you feel like is getting picked on the most in all those positions I just mentioned?
Linebacker and Justin Reed, I think they want to take opportunities when you got them on there. Anytime you have a receiver and a linebacker together, you're going to do that. So I think they were like, okay, if you're going to do that for us, we attack that. But they do get Joshua Williams and probably sometimes Jalen Watson at times where we can't get the cover sack. and he's standing in the pocket for a while, and then a guy knows how to flip out and they're just not fast enough and they don't have like, the hips to get around. I think that's the issue. But other than that, I do think they will want to attack the linebackers and Justin Reed first before Joshua Williams and Jalen Watson.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say Justin Reed. I'm gonna be honest. Anytime you're allowing a whole bunch of yards to tight ends, we talked about it today. We let our guy that covers tight ends go. He's in New Orleans. Wearing number 6, Mr. Willie Gay. So that's gonna be something that they talk about. Anytime situations and stuff like that happen, you give up over 100 yards to tight ends. So we better figure out a way to get it done and figure out a way to cover tight ends because they're gonna have a field day in 12 and 13 personnel with tight ends. So
Right.
you better figure it out. So yes, Justin Reed is the problem as far as when it comes to covering tight ends. And you can say linebackers too if they're covering tight ends, but
Yes.
I think it's Justin Reed.
No doubt. The Chiefs' offense in years, their bread and butter was beating people with the tight ends, and now at this point, the Chiefs' defense is also getting beat with tight ends as the most prominent position. So that kind of wraps up our offense and defense summary. So, Lonnie, we'll start with you. What are your final thoughts with the Chiefs winning this week 2 matchup against the Bengals, 26-25, going on to week 3, Atlanta, Sunday Night Football, 1 week from right now?
Yeah, teams that start 0-2, chances of making the playoffs slim to none. Teams that start 2-0, slim chances of making the playoffs great. So we're in the driver's seat now when it comes to our conference where we want to be. If you would have told me that we would have had Cincinnati and Baltimore at the beginning of the season and we were going to come out on the other side of these games 2-0, I'd have said, oh my God, this is a masterpiece. So I'm still thankful. I'm happy. I know they weren't the prettiest wins. They weren't the sexiest wins, but I'm excited where we are with our defense. I feel like our defense is definitely ahead of our offense. And I feel like we still got room to improve, but we're putting it on the right guy's shoulders. Anytime everybody else is playing out of their mind and the best guy the best player in the world needs to get it together, I like that. That's a good situation. I'd rather us be in that situation than to be the rest of the team needs to figure it out. And Mahomes has it figured out. So I love where we are as a team overall. We got a great victory. Can't go in sleeping into the A sleeping. It's going to be rocking down there on Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs are coming to town. The biggest show is coming to town. The celebrities and stars are going to be out. That is another version of Hollywood. So you better bring your A game. Don't be sleeping because you will get beat. Kirk Cousins and them will lull you to sleep. And the defenses, they spent some money. They're trying to get it together. So I think anytime Mahomes has it to get together, put it on him. I'm looking for a show on Sunday night and for him to show up and be somebody that he wasn't able to be today, but somebody that we know him to be, which is a great quarterback. So I love what I see from the defense and hoping that he gets it together.
Y'all did what y'all needed to do today. That's all I'm actually proud about. Great win. That's how you get through it. This was probably the toughest part of the schedule that people were saying as well too. The first 2 games, and y'all were able to fight through it. Now going forward, all you got to do is just winning games that you need to win, dominate the division. And I think we'll be all right going forward. And going on to next week, I'm excited. Can't wait. It's going to be a fun time. Kirk Cousins, he's always give us a run for his money. Don't matter if he's with the Commanders or Redskins when it was during at the time, when he was in Minnesota, and now here as well too. So we got to be on the lookout for that. Got some great talent over there with Drake London. They got Darnell Mooney. They got Behind Robinson as well too. So they got a lot of things you can do, and then Cal Pitts. So it's not just something that is going to be a guarantee, but I think if they do come out on fire, ready to go, they'd be good, and we can start out the season 3-0, just like my guy Rodney said. So that's what I have. Great team victory today. Got through it, got over the hump with the Cincinnati Bengals. Don't matter how it happened. So good job. I'm proud.
Well stated, fellas, and I'm going to try to keep mine short and sweet as well. The Chiefs escaped this game with a victory with 3 turnovers. Be able to walk away from this game 2-0. Forget this game ever happened. Put it in your back pocket and wait for later at the end of the season. Assume it matters. But going into Atlanta, yes, that team looks the way they do. Do not be trapped. Kansas City, do not fall for the trap. We've seen that game get dropped before. Not speaking it into existence, I'm mentioning it now so the Chiefs can know that's been a problem for them and work through it. Do not take any team lightly. Every team wants to play their best against you and will make sure they do whatever they can to perform well against you if possible. So do not drop this game coming up in what should arguably be the easiest for you, and get us ready for a divisional matchup against the Chargers for week 4 and have us a very solid quarter 1 in the NFL. So this has been the Red Kingdom Media Live postgame show. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening as we are live, or going into your week. Enjoy your Victory Monday and prepare for all of the content that we have this week to come, where we break down the Bengals game in more detail and we go in more depth on the Chiefs versus Falcons matchup that is officially now what we are all focused on. So thank you all for watching. Like I said, enjoy your evening or rest of your week whenever you're watching. And as always, go Chiefs!
Thanks for checking out this update straight from the heart of Chiefs Kingdom. We appreciate your passion, so please leave a like and follow us wherever you tune in from. See you next tailgate, your trusted source for all things Chiefs, Red Kingdom Media.